Hi guys, my name is Carson. I've been a stripper for 14 years and today's class is going to go over stripper heels. Today's class, I'm going to have to wear my hair up. I know I wore it down for the intro, but it is 100 degrees outside and I think the humidity is about 80. I'm not sure. It feels like Satan's taint. If you're here watching on the short form platform, I do have a long form version of this and it's going to be available on the video website. If you are watching on the long form video website, just remember I do post every single day on all the different platforms, or at least when my mental health is bearable. So let's get into it. As you can see, I have ADHD, but we are sort of set up. So if you've ever seen heels like this, or heels like this, or even boots like this, but you've never worn them, or you don't know where to start, whether you are a baby stripper, you've been a stripper for a long time, but you've never worn the stripper heels, or if you're in another kind of industry or want to do a photo shoot with these heels, this is just going to be a beginner's guide to how to pick out the right heel for you. I made a tutorial a few years ago about how to prepare your heels for performance or for regular wear. If you guys want to see an updated version, let me know in the comment section. Before I get into the whole video, I just wanted to remind you that carsontheshorturl.at is my website. You can go there, see everything that I do, because Lord knows I have too many jobs under my belt right now. If you want to become a part of my Babes Only community, it's on that website. All you have to do is request access to it. I am also working with another dancer named Jolie, and she has also built another website where she puts out multiple articles a day about how to become a better dancer, sell better, do better in this industry, and also building a community of her own. All of these links are down below, and if you guys have any questions or you want to become a part of the community and you're having a hard time finding out where it is, comment or DM me. So just a little history about heels first. Heels of these lengths, they were made necessary for ladies of the night, escorts, prostitutes, or full-service sex workers. The sex worker industry is known as the red umbrella industry, and anyone that does any kind of sex work, whether you are a dancer, performer, cam model, or a full-service sex worker, we are all sisters in the same community. Heels of this length or this nature have been very common for sex workers or full-service sex workers for a very good reason. The first reason is if you wear the right kind of heel for you, it makes your body that much more accentuated. It almost forces your body into the correct posture in order for you to balance in the heels just right. You can see why these would be appealing for the women. A lot of men do have kinks that have to do with these heels, but it definitely did start with the women. But if we want to go back even further, we can look at the butchers of history for the reason that we have these heels. The second reason heels like this were made popular by full-service sex workers is because weapons are very hard to carry around, especially when you're wearing next to nothing, or if you don't want the guy that you're trying to persuade to think that you're actually carrying anything that might be a danger to him. As we know, if men feel like they're in danger, bad things happen, which is an understatement. As you can see, it is a very long, thin, and sturdy heel. It's very hard for me to do this without it being perverted. The second job of the heel, other than making the woman's body in the perfect posture and look lovely, is a weapon. That way we can defend ourselves while looking good while we do it. Now, if you get heels like this, these are 10-inch heels. I do have boots that go up to 13 inches. The boxes do say not meant for walking in. That was really just put there for legal purposes. That way, if anybody hurts themselves, they cannot blame the manufacturer themselves. Heels like this were also made popular by Lady Gaga. I believe it was 2014 when she was wearing these on the red carpet. If I'm mistaken, please correct me. It's been a while since I looked up the research on these. My favorite company is the company Pleasers, or at least they were until they started to completely mass produce. The quality has gone down over the last decade, but They are one of the most unique shoes and a little bit more affordable than most other brands. Just like Christian Louboutin making red bottom heels popular with his brand, Pleasers also is popular with their red and black boxes. As you can see, this one has a red lid with butterflies, but they actually used to have pink and black logos everywhere. I think I have a box somewhere around here. I am definitely an avid shoe collector, especially because a lot of my online fans like to see me in very particular pairs of heels. Shoes like this or my 13-inch heels were actually ordered for me by some of my favorite fans in order to create content or make something niche just for them. A couple of other brands that you might see nowadays are Ellie, which is as old as the Pleasers brand, if I'm not mistaken. A couple others that I have personally worn are Hella Heel from the UK, Club Pony, Jolie, and honestly, there are so many more heels coming out for dancers than I can keep up with. But those are the ones that I have personally rated. If you're going to have access to the Babes Only part of my website, I do have an entire list of all the brands of heels and poles and outfits. I make sure that I give you guys a good pro and con list, the range of prices for that entire company, and I think I made sure that there's a link to each brand on there. If you want links to good websites that do sell these brands, but at a more affordable price, just let me know. As of right now, the newer heels like Hella Heel or Show Pony, they do not have a website that has a cheaper version. Now, when I say cheaper version, I really just mean the ones that are out of season that Pleasers doesn't want to hold on to anymore. They send them to these outlet stores and then they sell them. Okay, first things first. These are my absolute favorite heels. I try to buy these as much as I can. They do run out a lot, especially in a size 10. I don't know if it's because there's a lot of girls that wear a size 10 or if it's because not a lot of girls wear a size 10, so they don't make as much. But anytime I see that the red chrome Pleasers are available, I try to get them. I've personally been wearing 8-inch heels my entire career. I was taught by some brilliant women who no longer dance, unfortunately, but they were some of my best friends. The one thing, in my opinion, that makes the higher heel more desirable is how big the platform in the front is. Now, if you look at a heel, a stripper heel, you'll see that the distance from the heel to the toe is always pretty much the same length. I did have a friend who compared all the different heights of heels with her collection and found out that it was about a 2-inch difference, plus or minus about a 1/4 to a 1/2 of an inch, depending on the height of this heel. There is one brand that I do buy fetish shoes from. It is a Pleasers brand, but it's their Domina line, and that's where they make fetish shoes. So the heel arch is actually much more dramatic than these are. I do have a pair up at the top. We'll look at those at the very end. Another thing that makes these as comfortable as they are is the fact that this platform is definitely used as a tool by myself and other girls, whether it's floor work, pole work, or just giving a lap dance. As you can see, I do use it for floor work. I use the platform so that I can slide across stage. I smack so that I can get people's attention. You can also see that there's some marks on the side that show you where I clack if I'm spinning or turning around. Now, normally on Pleasers heels, on the back of the heel right here, you can see the size of the heel. But unfortunately, if it is patterned or has gems on it and is bedazzled, that number does not exist. I have been receiving donations of shoes from girls at the strip clubs that I work at for years now. I do sell them. So if you're a gentleman that just loves to have a good used and well-worn stripper shoe, DM me or go to my website. I do have them listed there. And for every pair that a lovely pervert gets from me, I'm able to give another pair to a girl in need. If you are a dancer who is in desperate need of working and you cannot afford heels, please message me. I do work with another company called the Nip Tip Store, which we'll go into that if you guys would like. I love the brand. Nip Tip and I are working together to be able to give shoes, even though they are worn and used, to dancers that are desperately needing more shoes in order to maintain an income of some sort. Okay, back to the education. So, have you ever heard of a decision tree? It's basically starts with the main question, which is, do you do pole? If yes, go this way. If no, go this way. Well, that's basically what we're going to do as we go along with all the different styles of shoes. Okay, so there's a few different styles that we're going to go over. We have the sandal, the pump, we have the short ankle booty, the high ankle booty, the knee boot, thigh boot, and the Mary Janes. There is another style of these that I do not have because I have not bought them in so long, but it's the double strap sandal. And that's where this front part is going to be thinner, and then it'll have a second strap that goes over the high arch of your foot just to make sure it does not come off, even without a strap. There are a few different categories of styles. The most popular style that I purchase is called the flamingo. As you can see, this kind of looks like a flamingo. This way, it kind of looks like a flamingo beak. It's just trying to point out this huge space right here between the heel and the platform. Now, this heel and this heel are both known as a sandal. You can tell it's a sandal because it has open-toed. Normally, a sandal will have clear or some kind of plain colored band over the top of your foot. Some sandals have straps, some don't. This is a Club Hella heel. You can tell by the padding right here. This is a pleaser heel. I can always tell because of the glitter letters on the inside. This would be an example of a sandal that does have a strap. Straps and boots are most important if you are going to be on a pole that spins or going upside down and doing tricks on the pole or on the floor or in a chair if you're trying to have some fun with acrobats during a lap dance. Okay, so we have the flamingo sandal. This is made by Domina, which is a line under Pleasers, which this is going to be your fetish heel. Now, as you can see, there's no strap on this one. I do have a pair of Domina heels that does have a strap, and the arch is always going to be a lot more dramatic than the other plain heels. Another thing I want to point out is the material that's made that goes over the foot. Now, I prefer the clear or any other kind of color that has this material. There are two different kinds of plastics that are made for stripper heels. There's this hard plastic, and then there's a softer one that has come out recently. There's another one that's come out in the last year or two. I don't remember the name of it, but there's always going to be a sticker over top of the image of the heel if you're trying to purchase it, and they're much softer and they mold a lot easier. These are hard to stretch. They have little to no give unless you put some heat on them. I prefer these because I do have wider feet and it helps me more, as well as the plastic being able to stick to the pole to make climbing a little bit easier. The patent leather top, it does help you climb the pole if needed, but the inside is going to be a felt or a suede, which makes it really hard to stick to your foot. The inside of this one, however, is a leather, which can stick to your foot, but if you sweat, it is going to slip out. That's the only reason I would tell someone to get something with straps, even if they don't do any kind of tricks like that. Another thing about the patent leather is that it does stretch out more than the plastic. So if you are going to get one like this, just know you're going to have to break it in. And by the time they are worn and broken in, it will be a lot wider than when you originally got it. So if you're just trying to wear it for a couple of times, get exactly your size. But if you are going to wear them for quite a while, I would suggest going a size down. Now, at work, I do sweat a lot, but even with a lot of sweat, these don't really slip off unless I'm wearing socks or tights or fishnets. That kind of gives it a little less traction and makes the shoe fly off for sure. While I do not have a pump stripper heel, this is a pump regular heel. Just want to note that it is closed on the heel, closed on the toe, and it wraps all the way around. Another thing to look out for, if it has a nude bottom, this is probably not going to be good for work. There's not a lot of traction. The rubber on the bottom is not sticky enough to be able to walk around without slipping and sliding. The black rubber bottom makes much better tread. This is built for work. It is supposed to last. Like I said before, Pleasers has gone down in quality over the last decade, but we still love them. Now let's say you find a pair of heels. These have a strap. These used to have a strap. As you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but I cut off the strap. That only happens when it unravels or breaks off, but sometimes you really do need a strap, especially if you're going to be wearing tights or you're scared that the shoes are going to fly off for whatever reason. There are a lot of off-brand, but also pleasers that will sell replacement straps, and they basically just slide around the heel and then wrap around your ankle. Be careful when you buy them. I always have to get the medium large because the small medium doesn't even wrap around my ankle because I'm just a big person. All right, now another brand that I have worn is Jolie. This is my first pair of Jolie heels. As you can see, it's also chrome, just like Pleasers. I do believe Pleasers sells a color similar to this, but there are some key differences. The arch on the Jolie is much deeper on the padding of the foot. So if you have flat feet, this is probably not going to be good for you. Another thing they made different is the platform on this is longer than the Pleasers is. Also, the suede on the inside is made out of a little bit different material. You can definitely tell that this has more padding, but because this dip goes deeper, I do have some issues with my foot feeling comfortable all the way down in the center of the shoe. Now, these are all personal preference opinions. These are not good, bad facts. If you're going to get Club Hella heel, they do have the softer plastic that goes over the foot. They have that extra padding under here, but because they have the extra padding and because they have the softer plastic and they know that it has more movement, they do make them a little small. So if you're going to order Hella heels, go up a size. If you're going to wear Pleasers, if you have wide feet and an arch in your foot, stick with your size. If you have narrow feet or flat feet, go a size down. If for some reason you can't get your foot inside of the plastic, wear a big old sock, take a hairdryer and warm it up. Make sure to not burn yourself. The heat will make sure that it forms around your foot. Kind of like when you get a retainer and you have to boil it and then bite down on it to get it to mold specifically to you. That's exactly what you're doing with the hairdryer. Now, let's say you're not really a fan of the sandal. You're not really a fan of the strap, but you definitely want it to be more secure around your ankles. That's where the ankle booty comes in. This is a high ankle booty. They also make low ankle booties that go to here or about here, depending on the brand and depending on the style. Again, these are Pleasers, also the flamingo style, and these are patent leather. The only other reason I don't like patent leather if I'm going to be doing a lot of floor work is the leather will catch on the floor depending on what material the floor is made out of. But most floors that I've danced on, I've had a hard time sliding gracefully. I kind of get stuck or kind of like a rock skipping across the water. It's not that graceful, but it's great for climbing. It's great for acrobatics, and it's great to secure your ankle. I even had a girl from work wear her ankle booties and she tied them so tight because she had actually twisted her ankle at work, but she couldn't afford to go home and she was in the middle of VIP. So she just tied them a little extra tight, which I do not recommend, but she was able to continue her shift until she went home. It's great for compression. The only complaint that I have about boots, even though I have wide feet, this is a little bit too big. I've tried to go down a size, but the length of my foot doesn't fit, even though I still have space on the sides down here. I think the main reason for that is because the laces kind of stop before the balls of your feet. It's great for not losing circulation in your feet, but it's also not great when I'm trying to have it be very firm around my foot. Now, the reason that I would get this pair of heels or this pair of boots versus another pair of boots is if you look here. On these boots, you can see that there are these little metal pieces that will hold the laces. Up at the top, though, they are not there. Now, that's not on every pair of boot. Sometimes these metal pieces go all the way down, but that sucks when you're trying to sit on your knees like I've been doing this whole video, because the pressure of your body is going to flatten these and then you can't use them anymore. So if you're going to be sitting like this on stage, make sure you look out to see if the metal pieces go all the way down or not. I don't know the name of these items, so they're just metal bits, okay? These are kind of like a Mary Jane, kind of like a pump, and kind of like a strap. This wraps around the front of the foot, kind of like a Mary Jane would. A true Mary Jane would just have the one strap here, or it would wrap underneath the foot. This is a specific style that Pleasers has created themselves. My favorite details are when it comes up, right, the seam comes up over the ankle. And again, these are also a flamingo style. Now, these are my Domina heels, or also known as devious. These are my fetish shoes. Now, they are not as high as my friends wear. They are not as high as my friends wear, but they still has the extreme difference from heel to toe. Another thing that I would like to tell you guys is if you do get the fetish heels, these are not good for people with flat feet. I have arches in my feet, so I don't have the experience, but I've been told by other dancers that when they get heels that have arches, even like the ones that I wear every day, it is extremely painful for them. So I would only suggest these heels for people that either have a very high arch, have a very flexible foot, kind of like ballerinas or gymnasts, or if you can take the time to look up how ballerinas stretch their feet, I would highly recommend doing that before getting into these pairs of heels. That way you can actually heel toe step in these heels versus looking like you don't know how to step in heels. I don't really know what you would call that, the clomp. Now, these are a pair of heels that I have not been able to wear yet. I got them on Valentine's Day last year, I think. These are made by Hella Heel. You can always tell that their box looks like this. I love them so much. I know I told you to go up a size if you have arched or wide feet. That is still true. I believe I got a size 11. Yeah, I got a size 11, but the main thing you want to worry about is if it fits here. If it fits around the arch and the balls of your feet, you're fine. If your foot is too long for this in the back, that's okay because it's not going to be blocked off by anything. The only time that I would tell you to go down a size or to get a new pair of shoes is if your toes start to go over the edge or if they go past this lip right here. So just imagine that there's a hem right here and the very edge is a barrier where your toes have to stay inside of. If you don't follow those rules, then your foot's gonna be working a lot harder. It's gonna be a lot more painful, and unless you've practiced or can tune it out, which I don't recommend, then don't listen to me. I'm hoping to wear these in a photo shoot before I wear them on the floor. Now, these are my jewel heels. They were originally created because they wanted to have every color of jewels, which I'm not sure if Pleasers has every color of jewels, but I do know Jewel does. The only thing is they do come off. I've only worn these 2 or 3 times and I've already lost some jewels, but as you can see, I slapped my right foot down more than my left. If these were to be pleaser heels, you would see why the size is not there, because how would you see it below the jewels? These are very good if you're trying to do a cosplay or trying to do a photo shoot, or you're one of those girls that has to match everything. These are one of my favorite pairs of heels, but I am so rough with my heels at work that I don't trust myself to wear these unless I have a VIP appointment. And even then, I try to only wear it for the VIP appointment and then change back into my chrome heels as soon as I'm done. I'm obsessed with these. I love them so much. The plastic, just like I said before, it is a little bit softer than the Pleasers, not as soft as the Club Hella heels. Let me switch back between Domina and Devious and Hella heel and Club Hella heel. I'm saying the same thing in my head, which I'm sure there's differences, but for me, it's the same. All right, now we have the monsters. These, again, they are pleaser, but what they've done is the strap is actually a shiny fabric. I don't want to say what kind of fabric. It looks like a silk. It does not feel like a silk. It is made out of patent leather. These go all the way up my thigh, and as you can see, they have these straps that go around at various points. Again, it fits the length of my foot, but the balls of my feet are always struggling a little bit. So I don't wear them when it's very hot out because I sweat way too much, but I definitely need to wear bulky socks when I wear these heels. I believe these are also 10 inches. Yeah, these are both 10-inch heels. These are also very hard to walk in, not because of the heel height, although the heel height does pose a little bit of an issue. But if you're going to wear thigh highs, you have to either have very tiny legs or you have to walk a little different than normal. So normally if I'm trying to walk sexy, I lock my knees so that I can get a little bit of bounce with my ass. And I rub my thighs together so that I can make that twisting motion that you see kind of like in Dusk Until Dawn when she's walking on stage. You can't do that in these. You can try, but if you're going to wear them without putting any kind of lubricant on top of them, which I do all the time, and as you can see, well, you can't see, but they are wearing away. But the patent leather will stick to itself, so it's very hard to move. It's almost impossible to have this rub against itself without sticking. This makes it great for climbing the pole or looking intimidating as hell. But it sucks if you're a clumsy person like me, because more times than not, you're gonna trip or stick to yourself without even thinking about it. There are heels that have a little section for money or items in the bottom. I'm sure you've heard of girls putting goldfish in the platform of their heel. There's always a little hole right here or on the side right here in order to put things in them, like tips or little trinkets. I used to have a pair. I'm sure I have them somewhere, but the only reason I didn't wear them more than once is because the center right here kept slipping deeper than the rest of the shoe, and it created immense pain in the balls of my feet. So I definitely stopped wearing them. Another type of shoe is where the platform is one length at the top half, another length at the bottom. So it looks like it's cutting in or there's a cutout right here. Those are really great if you love that unique look, but if you're going to be heavy-footed, it's not recommended. They do break a little bit easier. One common place that heels break for me, because I do drop splits, I slap my feet on the stage, etc., is they'll either crack right here on the plastic, or this plastic part will come right out of the platform right here. Now, the only thing that makes a heel is the plastic platform, the sole, and then this plastic part here, you know, minus all the other little gadgets that go with it. If you're going to repair your heels, there's a couple of ways. I've seen girls stitch this back down. I've seen girls glue it back down. I have personally glued the platform back onto the shoe, as long as the plastic is tucked between both layers, or the shoe has just come completely into two, which can be salvageable if you have the right glue. All right, now I am very big on comfort. I want to make sure that if I'm going to be working 6 to 17 hours in a shift, that my feet are not going to be bleeding by the end of the shift, which is very hard to achieve. I did have a lovely customer buy me these pleasers. They are the right size. They did fit well. The only problem is the material that is made over the foot. This one can pose an issue. It just depends on what you can handle. So the reason I don't like these is because these straps are very thin. If it has a thin strap, it's going to cut deeper than if I have a broad surface area. I don't know if you've studied physics, but it's basic physics. If there's more tension in one spot, it's gonna hurt a lot more. Kind of like if you're walking on ice, they tell you to spread your body out. This is not gonna be good if I'm gonna be putting a lot of pressure, standing up a lot, or if I'm gonna be really rough with my heels. Same idea with this strap. This strap can be helpful, but because it's so thin, it has a chance of cutting into my skin, especially if I'm gonna wear it 6+ hours. My favorite detail about these heels is the lace on the back. I think it's just so beautiful. I would definitely wear these out on a date, but I probably won't wear them to work unless the person that bought me these comes and sees me at the club. I know you're watching. Another style of heel that I've also seen, I don't see it often, and there's a good reason for it. I see it in photo shoots. I think I've seen it on baby strippers, but it's where they have these little straps that will wrap around their leg all the way to the top. I've seen it more at raves, but not so much at the club. There's been a couple of ways I've seen girls keep them up. I cannot wear them. My thighs and my legs go like this, so I would have to basically cut circulation off of my legs for me to walk around and dance and not have the straps fall. I've seen girls attach them to garters or garter belts, which is fucking brilliant. And I've seen girls attach it to their legs with lash glue or wig glue. Please be careful if you are going to use those. Read the label and the warning. do a test strip and make sure that you know how to get wig glue or lash glue off if it doesn't come off by just pulling, which I know is not recommended either, but what are you gonna do? All right, now this is a perfect example of a beautiful heel. It has a black bottom, like I said. It has the plastic top, but this is off-brand. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but Kotonika. It's got a beautiful tiger's eye design. I love how it has the design like I was talking about earlier. It's almost like a cutout in the platform. And the heel is also very cool. Or like those heels that have the guns on the heel. Those are amazing. I wear size 10. These are a size 9. I cannot fit into them. I can try, but I won't be able to give accurate feedback on them because they're not my size. Because they are off-brand. I don't know when they were made. I don't know how old they are. And I don't know how it's going to do with walking around. So we're going to have a little decision tree up here. Are you trying to dance, perform, or use stripper heels? Yes. Okay. Do you do acrobatics or pole climbing? If no, you have to decide, how are you going to walk? How long are you going to be in them? What kind of vibe are you trying to give off? And that will lead you to the decision of the different shoes that you would want to get. If you do acrobatics, then it goes down to, do you have a wide foot? Do you have an arch in your foot? Then that'll lead you down 2 different paths to figure out what kind of heel is best for you. If you guys would like any other tutorials on stripper heels, how to be a dancer, or how to audition, just let me know and I'm happy to make those for you. And if you've made it this far, thank you so much for supporting. I do not make money off of views, but if you could still like, comment, and share, that way it can get, hopefully, to some fun customers in the future. And as a final note, I am currently working on a Big Sister, Little Sister program in the stripper and sex worker community. If you would like to be a part of that, please DM me. I'm still putting plans together, but I would love your input. I would love for there to be volunteers to be Big Sisters. If you were to put strippers in a tier system, what items would you make that decision with? One of the things I want to put as a qualifier for the different tiers of Big Sister are, how long have you been in the industry? Are you full-time or part-time? That sort of thing. If you have any other suggestions, please leave them below or DM or email me. I'll leave everything in the caption below. Anyway, thanks for enjoying my collection with me. If you would like to see all of my heels, I'll post them in a different video. If you want to see all the heels that I have for sale, I do have a Depop and Facebook Marketplace, and I have them posted on my personal website. This has been Carson the Stripper.